What is up, guys? It's Mega giving you another deck for Link Evolution. We're doing one of my older deck, guys, and that's Predaplant deck. The only reason why I'm trying to find a balance between going through my older decks and making newer decks. So then you kind of like, because some people are requesting some of my older decks being revamped, such as I did with my Blackwings. So I decided Predaplants. I've always loved Predaplants. We've had new support such as Verte Anaconda, so I decided to run this one. This deck is, of course, my opinion at the end of the day, and it's completely cool if you disagree with any of the cards that are shown in this video. Predaplants are all about stealing your opponent's monsters and everything, failing to go into major fusion plays such as super polymerization, so that's what this deck kind of focuses on. If you're struggling to make this deck or any deck shown so far, I highly recommend you check out the card hub. Not only will tell you the cards in this game or not, I'll tell you where to find it, such as card pack, campaign, or challenge mode. That does include the new cards that are added and that's in the description down below, along with my Twitch, where I do try and stream the best I can, playing other games and also playing Link Evolution on the side as well. And with that, let's get into the video. Starting us off, guys, it's 2 copies of Ash Blossom Joy Springs. Opponent does anything, shuts down your from the deck, such as add a card, send a card, or summon from the deck. It just shuts it down. Ash Blossom, fantastic hand trap. Limited to 2 guys, unfortunately. 1 copy of Long Fire Blossom. The reason we're running this, guys, it works so well with the Predaplants. Is limited to 1 in this game because, you know, ban list. So otherwise, I'll take out Ash Blossom and run 3 because this card is so good, especially with all of our cards, and it works great with us Author Scorpio. We're into the Predaplants. We are running 3 Sundew. I can't pronounce its full names, we'll just call it Sundew. Monsters with Predator counters are classed as dark monsters, and also you can use their monsters for fusion summons. This guy is near enough of like a polymerization mixed with super. So what this card does, guys, you can fusion summon during your turns. This card's great with the next Predaplant we're going to talk about, and also if say your opponent's monsters have got Predator counters, you can use their monsters for fusion summoning, and because the class is dark, you can go into near enough all your fusion plays because of this guy. It's just unbelievable. 3 copies of Predaplant. Is it Cordyceps? The reason we're running this card, guys, is because he's just great with the trap card. During your standby phase, if this card's in your grave, you can banish it, special summon 2 Predaplants from your graveyard. Those monsters can attack, their effects still activate. The only downside is this guy locks you into fusion summoning for the rest of the turn, so you can't go into links if you're going to use this card, like you can't go into Verte Anaconda, so please bear in mind. But if you use this to resurrect a monster with Sundew, you can then use Sundew's ability to fuse it with the monster you've just resurrected and go into a free fusion, because let's say Sundew's effect does allow you to fusion summon without polymerization. 2 Darling Cobra. Now you might think, well, I'm running 2. 2 is just great, guys. It's good for, its effect is, if it's special by the effect of a Predaplant monster, like for instance Cordy or for instance Author Scorpio, you can add any polymerization such as super or any fusion card from our deck to our hand, which is just great. You can only use the effect once per duel, so the reason we're running 2 of this, guys, is because it's Laura of Darkness fodder, and also Author Scorpio requires you to discard a monster to play its effect, so that's the reason we're running 2. 2 copies of Predaplant. I cannot pronounce this guy's name. From Hello Morphus, I don't know. This guy is a Predaplant, guys. It's a level 8 Predaplant. Which comes in handy for Greedy Venom. If your opponent controls a monster with a Predator counter, you get special summon this card in your hand for free. And if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, you can target a dark dragon or a dark Predaplant monster in our graveyard and resummon it. So it's really great, and also it's a level 8, so Greedy Venom fodder as well. So it's just great for a free summon for Anaconda. 2 copies of Author Scorpio is limited to 2 guys, otherwise would run 3. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 monster from your hand to the grave and special summon a Predaplant monster from your deck, which is just great. You can only use the effect of Author's 1 per turn, so please bear in mind that. But this is great because it just brings out straight away Sundew if you want to do that play. It brings out Cobra if you want to search the fusion. It also brings out one of the new ones one of the next ones we're going to talk about. 3 copies of Sora Sentient. Sora Sentient, guys, is a fantastic hand trap, such as just like Ash Blossom. When your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand to basically protect yourself. Only works against direct attacks, so please bear in mind about that. And after damage calculation, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster and this one, so that's great. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, that does include if you fusion summon with it, you get to search any card with the word Preda in its name. So that includes our spell cards, our traps, and our monsters as well. But you can't search out this card. And 3 copies of Predaplant Spinodelia. If this card is normal special summoned, you can get target 1 monster on the field, and it gets a Predator counter. And if it has a level, it becomes level 1, which is great. And if this card attacks a monster that's a lower level than it, you get to special summon 1 Predaplant monster from your deck. So if your opponent's got a monster that's got 2 one that's a lower level, one that's just like a high monster, you can put the Predator counter on it if you want to go for that way. But this card's just great for setting up the Predator counters. So for instance, if you had Sundew in play, you can steal your opponent's monster because obviously it's got a Predator counter. You can fusion summon that way, or it's just great, great to go into other cards. So you can bring out Cobra with this. It's just great. Spells cards, we're running 2 Allure of Darkness, draw fodder is limited to 2. I needed to put some other cards in because obviously, like I say, Longfire Blossom and Orpheus Scorpio is banned. You can put cards such as Called by the Grave in, but I decided to put Allure of Darkness for draw power. 1 copy of Instant Fusion, we are running Mudguard Dragon of the Swamp and Thousand Eyes Restrict, so this card just comes in handy for a free fusion summon. 2 copies of Predablast, this card just makes it so your monsters get so with this you reveal any amount of Predator cards in your hand. Target that many cards your opponent controls. They all get Predator counters, and so this is just a great way for setting up the Predator counters. And also, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it from your grave and prevent one of your Predaplant monsters from being destroyed. So, got a little bit of protection. A new card, guys, Predator Practice. Special summons a Predaplant monster from your hand, and then you get to add a Predator card from your deck to your hand. So it's just a free summon, and it searches out another card, which is just absolutely OP. And however, this card does lock you into fusion summons as well for the rest of the turn. You can't link play if you play this card, so please bear in mind about that. 2 copies of Predaplant Fusion, because it's a Predator. In its name, it's searchable with our cards. It is, and also it's fusion, so that means you can send it to the grave with Anaconda. It's a quick play, guys. If you have a Predator monster on the field, you get to fusion summon a dark monster from your deck. If you have 2 or more dark monsters, you can using monsters on other played field, including 2 or more monsters you control. So this card works well with the new Predaplant. I'll get into it, but you have to fuse 2 monsters you control to then steal 1 monster your opponent controls. Please bear that in mind. 2 copies of Predator running. It's basically Monster Reborn, guys, for Predaplants. And that's all I can say, really. 2 copies of Super Polymerization. It's limited to 2, guys. What Super does, you discard 1 card, fusion summon monsters on either player's turn. On either player's field. It's a quick play. You can do it during your opponent's turn, like Predaplant Fusion. Also, this card's effect cannot be negated. No matter what, your opponent cannot stop Super Polymerization. 2 copies of Twin Twister. Aside adding Twin Twister for back row support, and also you can discard a card. So it's kind of great if you want to discard Sendy, so you can obviously, like say, set it up for the graveyard play on the next turn, and also you get to pop 2 cards your opponent controls. 2 copies of Lost Wind. Basically, you're running 4, guys, because with Lost Wind, if your opponent would special summon a monster from the extra deck, you can reset this card from your graveyard. If you do that, it is banished on the next turn you play it, and for its effect, you get to target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, negate its effect and half its attack. It just helps the Predaplants out a bit, and it's just a great support card. And then finally, 3 copies of Predaplanning. So you get to send 1 Predaplant monster from your deck to the grave, and place 1 Predator counter on all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Also on all face-up monsters on the field, that does include your own. And if you fusion summoned a dark monster while this card is in your grave, you get to banish this card to pop 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a really good, especially because you're going to play all the cards with Predator counters. Works well with Dragostapelia, works well with a lot of our monsters such as Sundew, and it sets up the graveyard as well. Going on to the extra deck, guys, when you run 1 copy of Greedy Venom, you could run 2 if you want. You could take out something else like one of the link cards. But yeah, Greedy Venom, guys, is 1 Predaplant monster plus 1 Dark monster whose level is 8 or higher. So that's why it works great with that. It works great with Hela, and also just works with all of your fusions. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field. Its attack is reduced to 0, and also its effect is negated, and if this card is destroyed, you get to destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and then you can banish a level 8 or higher dark monster in your graveyard and special summon Greedy Venom. So basically, if you fusion summon Greedy Venom, it's got some protection because you just banish the card that you used to fusion it, and you just bring it back. Absolute fantastic card. Mud Dragon, guys, the reason we're running Mud Dragon is because of Instant Fusion. This card is classed as a fusion, so if that works well for all your monsters, and also it can change its attribute to Dark, which makes it great for fusion summoning as well. Because Duelist can only work if you have a fusion monster. 2 copies of Chimera Celeris. I'm going to call it Predaplant Chimera. It's 1 Predaplant monster plus a Dark monster, so it works well, especially with Sundew and whatever. You could target 1 monster on this on the field whose level is equal or lower to this card and banish it. Really great. And when this card declares an attack, you can make it so that your opponent loses 1,000 attack and this card gains it. And if this card is sent to the graveyard during the next standby phase, you get to add any fusion from your deck to the hand. So it's basically a Cobra, but fusion form, and just so much better. And it's not a once per duel. 1 copy of Dragostapelia. Dragostapelia, guys, is a fusion monster plus a dark. That's why it's great to run Relinquish and Mud Dragon. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field and give it a Predator counter, and if it has a Predator counter, negate all effects. So with Predator planning, Dragostapelia just shuts down a lot of stuff, guys. It just shuts down your opponent's monsters effect from activating. The new Predaplant, guys, Triply Overton. If 3 monsters on the field to fusion summon this bad boy, that's why this card is absolute great to go into with Predaplant Fusion, because you can just use 2 monsters you control plus 1 your opponent controls, so that's where you get it from. This guy gains attack equal to the total original attack of all monsters with Predator counters on the field, so that's just absolutely great. And it has a couple effects, guys. When your opponent's monster when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you can negate that summon and destroy it, which is great. You can only use that once per turn. Also, if your opponent controls a monster with a Predator counter, you can special summon this card in defense mode from the graveyard. So it has some protection, so you can just bring it back. Absolutely great. You can only use each effect once per turn. 2 copies of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. It just makes it so you're able to go and steal your opponent's monsters so easily, and because obviously it's dark. This card has effects, guys, where if it's fusion summoned, you can target 1 special monster your opponent controls. Starving Venom gains attack equal to that monster's attack. You can target 1 level 5 or higher monster on the field. Starving Venom negates that monster's effect and gains it. Also, if Starving Venom goes to the graveyard, you can destroy as many special monsters your opponent controls. Thousand Eyes Restrict, guys, you play this with Instant Fusion, because then you get to steal one of your opponent's monsters, and then you just link summon into Verte Anaconda or link summon into Link Karibo if you want. Or because it's a fusion monster, you can go in easily with Dragostapelia. Links, guys, are running Borrow Sword, one of the best ones. It cannot be destroyed in battle. If you attack a monster, Borrow Sword gains that monster's attack or gains half of it and makes that monster lose half its attack. So it's great going over Chaos Max. Also, you can target one monster that's in attack mode, change it from attack to defense mode. Borrow Sword can attack twice. You can do that during either player's turn as well. 1 Nightmare Unicorn, guys. I had to run Nightmare Unicorn just because it just gives you a little bit of protection. You can, if this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it back to the deck. Just absolute great. 1 copy of Link Karibo. We are running a lot of level 1s such as Sarvcelia and Sempi, so you can just link someone into Link Karibo. It gets a dark monster on the field and it gets them in the graveyard and sets them up. 1 copy of Verte Anaconda. 2 effect monsters. Summon this guy's absolutely broken. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field. It becomes dark, so that's great for super polymerization and also Predaprime Fusion. And also you can use Anaconda's other ability, where you can pay 2,000 life points, send any fusion card from your deck to the grave if you meet its requirements, and then you basically activate that card. So you can play super polymerization without discarding a card. It's absolutely great. Great. However, you can't special monsters after you played Anaconda's effect, so please bear in mind about that. And then 1 Re-Rich. I decided to run Re-Rich. I mean, you could take this out to put in another copy of Greedy Venom. It's 2 dark monsters, and all your monsters and all your dark will gain 500 attack, which is great. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to target a dark monster from your graveyard and add it to your hand. So you can just recycle the Orphic Scorpio. Now, I have kind of rushed this little bit, guys, because I'm trying to go through as quickly as I can, giving you as much information, because I'm going to try and because I'm going to fast forward the duel replays a little bit and telling you what I did during it, so you can hear some form of commentation. So with that, so with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck. I shall see you in the replays, and wherever you are in the world, please remember, take care and stay safe. Goodbye. So starting us off, guys, we have got a very bad hand. We decided to play the Cobra because there was no point in us doing anything and just set Super Poly, because like I say, with a hand, yeah, we've got 2 hand traps, but there's no point going into like the Chimera and all that stuff yet, so I decided let's just hold out, see what he's doing. He was playing into Red Eyes, so I decided to stop him from searching Red Eyes Fusion, because that's most probably what I was going to do. I shouldn't have done this straight away. I should have, like, now I go into the Chimera, steal his monster. I shouldn't have done this now. I should have let him summon out a better monster. I forgot. I basically got excited because I saw Dark Monsters. That's the reason I played this, because now he's going to go into a bigger play. Like, you see what I mean when I should have stopped playing Super Poly. But it's not all that bad, if I'm being brutally honest, because we still got another Predaplant in hand. Like now, I should have played Super Poly against Dark Arm Dragon, but now because he's played Beezle, we've got no monster to play. We can place Dragon Sentia. Sentia's effect is now going to let us to search. I shouldn't have searched out this card. I should have searched Senedy. Sympathy, whatever it is. I shouldn't have searched out this, but it doesn't really matter because the Chimera's effect now, we get search out Super Poly. We're now going to then play Super Poly, use Beezle, because Beezle can't be destroyed but it can be targeted, and we're going to go into go into Greedy Venom and just go for a free tie. So the reason why I should have gone into Sempi is because then on the next turn I could have gone for an OTK, but I didn't, so you know, guys, live and learn, I suppose. But now it doesn't even matter if he does get rid of Greedy Venom, because it will still nuke his field. Like, he decides to go for the Link Creeper in the past. Like, Greedy Venom can nick. Like, we should have searched out this guy, Cordy. We should have searched that with the Sarasantia. So I decided to put my own Link Creeper in play, because then Link Creeper, like, now if he goes for the attack, Link Creeper can protect Greedy Venom. If he does get rid of Greedy Venom, like, still protect us, and Greedy Venom can just negate his Link Creeper from playing its effect, so we can still deal the damage. And like now he just passes, so like he just forfeits now. So that's the one duel, guys. We're on to the next one, which is a very more interesting duel. We're going up against a Atek Nistar deck. Really good duel, guys. I still can't believe I won to this day. So we've got a good hand. We start off with 2 hand traps, and he's literally just going to go mad. So for instance, he's going to go into Dark. He's literally going to summon out and off everything. He goes into Dark Templar, Wind Pegasus, he has Light Dragon, he has Water Leviathan, he has nearly off every single one. The only thing he was missing was Earth Golem on that starting combo. So yeah, as you see our hands, we're not that bad, guys. We've got Predablast, so that means we can give all those monsters Predator counters. We do have, and also because it goes to the grave, it gives them some form of protection. We have Spino, so that means we can... It gains. It will, like, we can make one of his monsters go to a lower level, and then it will gain. Then we can special summon. We have Sempi, so we can try and get Sempi in the grave as best we can. And then obviously we've got 2 Sara Sentients, so that kind of protects us as well. So to be honest, at the moment it all depends on what we top deck. I really want to hope for some form of a fusion, or you're just going, because even if you played Spino and put Wind Pegasus down to level 1. You're still not going to be able to... I mean, you'll be able to search out Cobra, I suppose, but you wouldn't be able to destroy it. You'd have to, like, take a loss. So that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, you see what we do. So I still don't know why he did this. I don't know why he went into Eyes Ritual straight away. I mean, I would have saved this for your turn. But he tried to do that anyway, it doesn't matter. So what we top deck is Allure of Darkness. That's actually a godsend, because that means we can get rid of a card and draw 2. So... First, I'm going to play Predablast just to make sure we don't lose it, because you don't know, because you could have ended up with 1 less monster, and he had 4 bang on. It was just right. So now we're going to put all of his monsters to have Predator counters. So like now, if we went into Sundew, we could use Sundew to steal his monsters. If we went into Dragostapelia would stop his monsters from playing their effects. You see what I mean? Predablast is just absolutely OP, guys. And also, now I say, it gives our Predaplants some form of protection. So now we play the Allure. We did draw 2 more monsters. So I think what I decided to do was banish the Cobra, because we still have another Cobra in our deck, so it's not that bad of a play, really. And because his monsters have got Predator counters, we can special summon Healer for free. And because it's a dragon, because it's a level 8, it will come in handy. I decide to, like, now play Cordy, because then Cordy would be in the graveyard for when the next turn, if we like brought out Sundew and go for brought back 2 monsters. So that means both of them are set. We decide to go into Verte Anaconda because, again, we don't have a fusion, so we can't do anything. We're going to force... I decided out of the 2, out of Wind Pegasus and Light Dragon. Light Dragon was the worst one, so I forced that to become a Dark attribute. So now we're going to play Verte Anaconda's ability to basically send Super Poly to the grave. And now we can Fusion Summon. So now we have multiple things. We could have gone into Starving Venom and gone into, like, fuse his 2 monsters, gone into that way. We could have gone into Chimera, because obviously our monster's a Predaplant. We could have got rid of one that way. We could have gone into this one, which I think we do go in. We had many plays to go into, and I was like, what was the best one we could do to get around this? Because obviously, with the Aztec Nistars, I find you want to try and clear the board as quickly as you can to deal damage. Yes, I know they have graveyard effects, but you really want to, like, clear the board. So I was like, what could I do? So I decided to go into this one, because obviously Verte Anaconda only has 500 attack points. And also he's going to get a power up because of all the Predator counters we use. Like, you could have gone to Starving Venom and stopped Water Leviathan or stopped Wind Pegasus from playing their abilities. But I decided not to, because obviously it only works until the turn's end phase. And so I decided to go into the other Predaplant monster. And also, again, because it's a Predaplant, Predablast will give it some protection, while Starving Venom wouldn't have that protection. So now it's up to 7,600 attack points because of the Predator counters. In this situation, I decided to go into Water Leviathan, because that's more of a dangerous one, because... Wind Pegasus has an ability that will trigger in the graveyard if we get rid of one of his Aztec Nistars, but it can't activate while on the field. So I decided Water Leviathan is the worst threat than Wind Pegasus on the field. So we decided to go into that, because even if he cuts our monster attack in half, it's still strong enough to get over Water Leviathan. So because obviously with all of the counters. So that's the only reason we're going to that. Deal some damage. And like I say, even if he does clear our board now... Oh, phrase that. Even if he clears our board now, we still have 2 monsters. Like he does, I did forget, I mean, you know what I've just said. I did forget that Wind Pegasus ability will activate even on the field. I thought it was just a graveyard only. So, because we destroyed one of his Aztec Nistars, it bans our monster back in the deck and banishes the Wind Pegasus. I did forget about that. To be honest, that actually worked into our favour, because now we've got no monsters in play. Sara Sentient's effect will activate if he goes for the attack, which obviously he's going to do. It is an Aztec Nistar deck. Even if you clear the board, they can still bring out a fantastic board. So, yeah. Like, now, like I say, he's just going to do his combo. So, like I say, please, I don't know every single card off the back of my hand. So, I was like, Wind Pegasus, I thought that only activated in the graveyard, but apparently it plays on the field as well. So, like, yeah, kind of made some mistakes. Like, now I think he's going to go back into Dark Templar. And then he's going to go back into his combo. I think he brings out Fire Pegasus as well. Again, we're just like, right, we're fine, we can protect ourselves with Sara Sentient, we're fine, we're completely fine, doesn't matter what he does, because obviously we can still search. In this situation, kind of, in my opinion, I'd say Ortha Scorpio would be the best one to search first, because obviously you can spend Spiny to the graveyard, set that up, and then obviously you can play one of our monsters going to a fusion summon like Cobra. You wouldn't want to search, like, you could search out the trap card, but he does have Linkuriboh at the end of the turn. So I think no, he doesn't have Linkuriboh. So now Sara Sentient, because he's attacked us, we're going to play it. He's going to attack into it because he doesn't care if 5 Phoenix is destroyed. I did misread 5 Phoenix's ability, so I removed Predaplants from play. So now we destroy his monster because I was going to stay in the field, and I forgot about I misread his monster's effect. I thought it only activated when it's drawn by battle, not by card effect. So I thought, right, we're going to play smart here. If he attacks this, we could save a Sara Sentient. Kind of messed that up. So now we're going to search out Ortho Scorpio. We're just going to let... I decided to let that attack go through because I was like, there's no point. We could have just set the Sara Sentient because you don't have to play Sara Sentient's ability. I think he was trying to bait it out because he does know we've got another one in hand. So now we play the other Sara Sentient to protect us from the Dark Templar. He doesn't go into the attacks, he wants to keep his Dark Templar, which is fine. We don't really care because it's a dark attribute. We really don't care about that monster. So now 5 Phoenix, because it was destroyed by its effect, well, by card effect, it returns. So that's kind of the downside. Then obviously he brings back his monsters. So what we decide to do is go into Ortho Scorpio. We send Cordy to the graveyard, and we special summon out Spiny. The reason why we summoned out Spiny and didn't summon out Sundew is because Spiny's now going to put a Predator counter on one of his monsters. So I decided to put it on 5 Phoenix because then if we just went into Spiny or Sundew, sorry, we wouldn't have, like, his monsters don't have a Predator counter, so we can't nick his monster. But because he's got a monsters level 1 and he's got lower level monsters, when Spiny attacks, we can special summon the Sundew, and then we can like fusion with that 5 Phoenix, and because we're doing it that way, 5 Phoenix will not be able to resurrect. So look, we're going to the attack because our monsters are lower level, we deal some damage. Because it's a lower level, Spiny now lets a special summon out Sundew, or any one of our Predaplants. I decided going to put Sundew, it was the best one in this situation. Yes, we can't, then I decided just attack into his other monster, try and get rid of some of his cards because of his link plays. Sundew now is going to, now Sundew, we can fusion summon dark monsters, and because his monster has a Predator counter, his class is a dark, also we can fusion summon using monsters he controls. So now he thinks we're going to set a trap card, or like he wants to give him some form of protection because he thinks I'm going to fuse with his Dark Templar. So he gets rid of his Dark Templar to bring back Lingaribo, so we can't really summon out fusion, play traps. So in this situation I was like, right, what can I do? I'm going to get rid of Sara Sentient because with Sara Sentient it gets sent to the grave by a card effect. We can still search out a card, and we get rid of the 5 Phoenix. That card no longer resurrect. And we bring out this monster, and again, because of Lingaribo, it was used as a search out a trap. So I was like, what could I do in this situation? I decided to search out Predator Prime because I can use it during his turn because it's a quick play, and also it was like, say he wanted to go for like a big attack on these two, I can fusion summon with those two, so at least I won't take big damage. We could use Trify and one of our monsters I attack into to go into Dragos Depelia to shut down one of his monsters' effects. We could have done that way. We could have gone to Greedy Venom. We had many plays we wanted to, but because it's a spell and not a trap, Lingaribo cannot negate it. So we're not doing that bad. So far we're doing great. He plays that to bring back Water Leviathan, which is kind of a struggle because he's going to make our monster's attack go to 0. It doesn't really matter if he does this, because like I say, we can play Predaplant. It's not going to do us any problem if he does this, because now he tried to go into an extra play, Tri-Feast effect will activate, negate it, and destroy it. I think he was baiting that out because he didn't want me to destroy his golem, but it doesn't really matter. Because I say, like now Earth Golem, he no longer takes damage this turn, but that really doesn't matter. So now, because he's gone through his battle phase, we're going to play Predator Prime. Because his monsters are an Earth and a Water, we can't steal his monsters. I could have brought back into another Trify, but that wouldn't have worked. I could have brought a Chimera, would have been pointless. Because, yeah, we could have searched out a fusion, but it wouldn't have been a decent fusion we would have played, especially with how low life points we're going to have. We would have lost because of Earth Golem. We could have brought out Starving Venom, and he could have like nicked one of their monsters' attacks. But what I decided to do is to go into Greedy Venom, because even if he destroys Greedy Venom, which he was going to do, he would nuke both his monsters. Both of them would be gone if he attacks into Greedy Venom. In hindsight, I should have put Greedy Venom into defense mode just to protect my life points, because both his monsters do have high attack points with the effects. So I literally was, at this point, crossing my fingers and praying to God that I didn't lose. Thank God I didn't. I just survived with 700 life points, and say, because Greedy Venom was destroyed, it nuked both his monsters, which was just great. I could have banished that other monster, but I decided to banish this one. To be honest, it was a crit decision. I didn't have time to think. I just decided to banish that one by mistake. You should have banished the other monster, not the fusion. But it doesn't matter. Even if he destroys Scree Venom again, he does have some form of protection, because obviously we could just banish the other one. Doesn't matter. So now it's our turn. I could have just summoned out this monster for, and gone for the win, but I think he had a Fire Attic Nistar monster in his graveyard, so I thought it's going to negate one of my attacks from battle damage. So I decided to play Corgi's effect. So with this, I can special summon 2 Predaplants. I decided to go for the ones that have the most attack points. And also I misdid my maths. I thought that was less than 5,000 for some reason. It's bang on 5,100, but you know what I mean, I kind of forgot my maths. So it's like, right, banish those 2, go for the ones with the highest attack, go for the win. To be honest, you want to do this with Sunday, because then you could have fusion summoned again, but it doesn't matter. So now we just go for the win. And there you go. Predaplants, guys, against Attic Nistars. Fantastic duel. So yeah, I'm sorry I kind of went on a little bit, guys, but it just shows you in the extra deck what we did through. Oh, in the duel, so you can kind of see what I did and what I kind of thought. It was an interesting duel, guys, because Predaplants it's all about stealing your opponent's monsters and like doing it that way, like going with tricky effects, and that's all we did. And thank God we was able to win. Like in hindsight, I should have done some other plays, but yeah, that's what Predaplants is, guys. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I know I said it earlier, but guys, stay safe, and stay healthy.